point, infamous blog post that we've talked a little bit about. Can you tell me more about the blog post and the response from it?
Sure. I write blogs like every month or two, and they're usually pretty personal, which I think is why we have such a following of people that care about us so much, which is why I didn't anticipate the other stuff with the Groupon. And so I just wrote to people because my husband was like, I really don't think people understand. I don't think consumers understand how Groupon works for the business. That I think a lot of consumers would not buy Groupons if they knew that the business was getting burned so much. Which is, I'm not sure if that's still true, but I think it's at least helpful for people to know that you are not actually giving someone $6, you're giving someone $3 in our case. And so I just wrote about how everything kind of transpired. Talked about the customer, Melinda, that had gotten upset, and so this is why I was writing the blog post, and how I contacted Groupon. We thought it would be a good deal. I wanted to know the split. They told me they would take 100% unless it was less than $10, or if it was more than $10. And then we negotiated to 50/50. And just how, even though we'd gotten some good customers, we'd had a lot of really bad customers that exploited the system, were rude to the staff, didn't tip the staff at all. And part of the problem, I think, is that they didn't say anything to us about capping, cap your deal. And so you don't actually know how much your campaign is going to cost. Whereas, like, if you got a newspaper ad, you know what you know what it's going to cost because you paid up front. This just keeps costing you money unless they tell you. And so after I just posted on like Facebook, here's my blog, and then I started noticing that everyone else was reposting it, and then I went out of town, or I was leaving town, and Andrew Mason had left a comment on the blog, and it was like, I'm the founder of Groupon. Just so you know, we have a 97% satisfaction rate amongst businesses. This seems like a real anomaly, and we'd really like to fix this. Maybe you just didn't understand how this was supposed to work, blah, blah, blah. And I think at the time, I took full responsibility. Like, I felt like I had read the fine print. This was my problem, not Groupon's. And I was feeling like kind of embarrassed. Like, writing the blog, it was like, my bad. You know? And people didn't really, not everyone read it that way. Some people were like, you're an idiot, you're blaming Groupon. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just said I take full responsibility for this bad decision. But I ended up emailing back and forth with Andrew Mason and his second in command, Darren Schwartz. And they were like, well, you can cap it, and you can incorporate tipping into it, and you can do this. And I was like, right. So my sales guy didn't tell me any of that. So you need to understand, this isn't a newspaper ad where most people know how to do that. You know, that I was like, you revolutionize marketing. So nobody knows the parameters unless you tell them. And no one told me the parameters. So how can I possibly know that? And they were like, yeah, that's true. And then I gave them all of these suggestions, of which now, all these months later, I see incorporated into their business, and I'm like, you're welcome, Groupon.
Now, what are some of the suggestions you gave them?
So I suggested that they, besides telling them all of these things, was that they create a spreadsheet where they can, before people sign up for a campaign, they can see how much it's going to cost them. So similar businesses to yours sold how many? Like, they can enter however many. What's the campaign you're running, the percentage off? Here's how much it's going to cost you. Here's how much you could potentially gain, blah, 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 which they created. And there were two other things. I can send you the email that I sent them. But every single thing that I sent them, they did. And I was like, you're welcome.
Now, Andrew Mason wrote a blog post on the Groupon blog, I believe, where he talked a little bit about your experience and talked about he was going to reach out to you and make things right. Did Groupon make things right for you?
They said that if I had known that I could cap it, where would I have capped it? And I said, I don't know, like 400 or 500. So they said that they would give me the difference of what they made. So the 400 or 500 to the almost 900.
Okay.
That's fine. And they're like, but please don't tell anybody that we did this. And I was like, again, you and your people writing to me to not tell people is like, the minute you put it in writing, you know how strange that sounds? I'm totally telling everybody that you say these sketchy things. So I just feel like it's kind of a fly by and see their pants kind of business. Like, they're not actually thinking this stuff through, and it drives me a little crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, they sent me a check for like $1,700.
Now, do you think if more people knew the economics behind Groupon, that would change behavior?
I don't know. I was talking to my husband about this the other day, and I feel like, because it says that they have like more followers than ever, but I also was reading some of the comments on your blog, and someone was saying that like anybody can sign in. Like, you don't actually need a real email address to sign in. So like you can just be like abcdefg@gmail.com. And so that made me wonder if there are actually that many people to sign up for Groupons or not. But that it was ultimately like, and it's hard to say this because you don't want to disenfranchise people, but that it's like people's selfishness or like willingness to pinch a penny out of their own selfish gain is not always, but like it takes a strong person to like forego paying the discounted price because they think it's principally wrong. So I don't really know. That I feel like some people were like, they wrote to me and they were like, I'll never do Groupon again. But even some of my friends, they've been like, I just saw Groupon for Floyd's and it was like $3 for $20 worth of product, and it was like too irresistible. And I was like, what? It's like, what do you mean too irresistible? It was like, unless Floyd's is like, hey, let me just give you some coffee. Because I think that that's how people perceive this is happening. But I was like, really, I think these businesses are about to get caught in a trap, and you're seeing it before it happens. Like, you have this information before it happens. So.
Now, had you used a Groupon before you did the deal?
No, I signed up for it just to see what it was before I did it, but I've never bought a Groupon.
You haven't used a Groupon before or after?
No.
Okay.
Especially after. And even for like Gap and Old Navy, like I know that they're doing these big ones, and if they actually are paying for the campaign, then I would do a Groupon. Like I would pay for it because then Groupon would be losing money. But even when they did one with Old Navy, that I was like, I know they're both big businesses, and I would rather Old Navy not lose money than Groupon earn money. So, because I just feel like it's sort of a corrupt business model that my husband refers to it as like locusts. Like, they are going to go through and tap all these businesses until they can't survive anymore. And once they hit, because they told me you can only do one Groupon in your whole existence, which I know isn't true now, but that's what my sales rep told me. So it's like, okay, well, you can only do it once. You're going to go through, nearly shut down a bunch of businesses, and then what? So I think that that's why they changed their model, that you can do multiple.
Got it.
It's also why they've been advised not to talk to me.